I'm Jeff Quint, founder and master distiller at Cedar Ridge Distillery. We believe our bourbon is a natural product, and with corn being an essential ingredient, it's befitting to source it from the best corn producer in the U.S., Iowa. The land around Winthrop, Iowa is ideal for farming. Its soils are fertile, it gets the right range of heat and precipitation, and it enjoys a predictable growing season. It's the perfect place to grow corn. Since coming over from the old country in 1881, our family has worked this earth. While the equipment has changed, the job hasn't. Get the seeds in the ground and let nature do the rest. Harvest time is both a soulful and anxious time in Iowa. It marks the culmination of so much work and patience and risk. Hearts and souls are poured into the job as summer gives way to fall. With one eye on the forecast and the other on the fields, rest is simply a luxury until the harvest is in. But while most corn in the state heads to market, the corn from our family's farm heads 40 miles south to our distillery. There, it waits in grain bins before it becomes award-winning Cedar Ridge bourbon whiskey. At Cedar Ridge, we do things a little differently, partly due to our winemaking heritage. It begins with a mash of corn, malted rye, and two-row malted barley. After mashing, we immediately separate the solids from the liquids. The spent grain is still full of protein and used by local farmers to feed livestock. The clean liquids are then fermented and double distilled to a slightly higher proof than most other bourbons. So what was once rows of corn and grains becomes racks of barrels in our rickhouses. Unlike mass-produced bourbon aged in controlled environments to achieve higher volume, we keep the doors open to the heat and cold and humidity of the Iowa climate. This lets the whiskey in the airtight barrels expand and contract and filter through the charcoal surface, and allows Mother Nature to put her own stamp on each and every batch of Cedar Ridge whiskey. From planting through bottling, it takes about 4 years before a batch of our bourbon is ready to enjoy. The result? A clean, approachable sipping whiskey. Subtly different each and every time, but with an authenticity you'll keep coming back to. Others have taken note. Our Iowa bourbon whiskey earned the 2018 gold medal in Best of Category Bourbon at the Los Angeles International Spirits Competition. This comes after Cedar Ridge Distillery being named the 2017 Distillery of the Year by the American Distilling Institute from among 1,300 distilleries. Each bottle, numbered by hand, gives you an immediate sense of the care and craft inside. This is how we do things in Swisher, Iowa. And from the very first sip, every step of the process is evident. From grain to glass. For that's what makes Cedar Ridge Iowa bourbon whiskey authentic by nature.